Hello, everyone. Hello. Welcome to another Sunday here on Rowena Explorez Parenting Without Manual. Welcome back, everyone. I'm your host, Rowena, and today we're going to dive into a topic that's been the cornerstone of many cultures for centuries, and it's the importance of godparents. Whether you're religious or not, the role of godparent can be a significance to in a child's life. I will be reading this story about Sophia Moni Cots, and I'll be showing two videos or a continuation of a video from the reel in reference to godparents. Welcome, everyone. Welcome to my live. I am so happy that you're here today. Here in New York, it's a hot one. This topic is something we could talk about, something we didn't really look into, but I'm bringing awareness on my platform. I'm bringing awareness and talk about issues we as parents and caregivers face raising our children in today's society. Welcome to my live. If you're new, thanks for joining. We appreciate your support. And thanks for being here. This inspiration came to me from an online story from the Telegraph, which is a US-based, I think, UK-based newspaper. It's called the Telegraph. And the story is called "I Feel Hypocritical, Promising to Protect My 10 Godchildren from Evil." And this is an opinion from the opinion page written by Sophia Moni Coutts, Coutts. All right, so this is kind of crazy, but let's read. I'm going to read it to you, and then we could talk about this in more details. So let's go. So off I went to Farm Street on Saturday morning, the Mayfair church where various Rothschilds and Hiltons and Spencers have married recent years. You know it's a big posh wedding if the invitation says Farm Street, with the dazzling stained glass windows with pudging altar. It wasn't a wedding though. It was a christening. As I wrote in my card on the train there, "Happy Christening," I scribbled my small godson, Luca. Nearly exactly 20 years ago, I met his mother on our first day as LSE, and she became my closest university friend. Little did we know, I told him in the card, that we'd be gathering at a London church 2 decades later to celebrate her first child. Life is magical, that I wrote. Yours will be too. Not that he can read it yet. My godson is a genius, obviously, but even he isn't reading at age 2. I reckoned half my friends have christened their children. Apparently, only half of Brits deem necessary these days, which roughly correlates with the number of people, 46%, who declared themselves Christians at the last census in 2021. Funny that weddings have become such a circus while the popularity of christening has declined. Both are religious ceremonies, but I can think of several people who've married in church yet balk at the idea of christening their child, as if introducing their child to the same religion they profess to believe a few years earlier at the altar somehow distasteful. Perhaps there's a marketing opportunity for the Church of England there. Quick baptism in church before a party in the marquee, outside with a photo booth and the bar dueling out espresso martinis. Admittedly, I've been to quite few christening because I have 10 godchildren. I've stood there while the priest tipped the baby towards the front and the baby screams until it spews, everyone watching laughing indulgently. Sweet. The congregation thinks while the poor baby waves its fist, Tiny Miss Havisham in an ancient family christening gown which is too small but hot and smells of mothballs. I've always felt pretty hypocritical while renouncing evil on behalf of a godchild. Though, because I'm not religious, I love a church ceremony and often think back fondly to the ritual of morning chapel at school and enforced contemplative 15 minutes of sitting and mulling the day over before it began. But I didn't live with any faith. There's also been the odd christening where I've been suffering from too many wines the night before. In if the parent says godchild have made a weekend of it and we've all congregate at the bucolic 12th century church in the sticks called sometimes like St. Mary in the Dunny, does the priest know or care in such a situation? I've always wondered if the parents and godparents took a bit green while hovering around the font. It's occasionally fent sham like for everyone to gather in suits and frocks for a service that nobody believes in, apart from the poor priest, solemnly going through the motions about being washed and cleaned by the Holy Spirit. I could do with a bit of cleansing myself this morning, Vicar. I've thought from time to time before. My doubts about christening have often been compounded by the silliness of the presents. Why would any baby need a silver rattle or a minuscule silver bangle? And a silver egg, cup and spoon? Thank you. How enormously practical. There are such joy last weekend though. The sun poured through the stained glass. Various grandparents, parents and friends who hadn't seen one another for years offered enthusiastic hugs. My godson toddled between the pews in white shorts and a smart white linen shirt. Organizing the service with key members of family and godparents spreads across America, the UK, and Africa has taken some time. So now that he's 2, he could toddle up to the altar himself. When's the water on my head? He kept burbling to his mother as we gathered beside the priest, mumbling our lines when required. Shh, she whispered back, in a minute. I want a book, Luca had then announced. Shh, Emily told him again. Although it's hard to disapprove of a child asking for a book these days, better than that, I wanted Peppa Pig. When the magical baptism moment arrived, Luca didn't find it as thrilling as he'd expected. And rubbing his blonde hair afterwards while fixing the priest with a suspicious glare, "You've been ever so good," the priest added, as if to make amends. "I've had some real screamers." After we'd all silently wondered whether this was an appropriate thing for a man of the cloth to say, we wandered back out into the sunshine and walked through the Mayfair to a nearby pub for the reception. The Pride Parade was taking place in central London last Saturday, and altogether it made comical sight. 30 or so of us from the christening in well-cut suits and dresses, mingling with 20-something in sparkling eyeshadows waving rainbow flags. While I decided the political situation in America with one of the American contingent who'd flown over for the baptism, a man in hot pants carrying a large deluxe sign strolled past. Another Pride participant was hanging out rainbow hats, whereupon Luca's grandfather took one and paired it with his navy suit. It was a happy, glorious morning, celebratory in more ways than one. Do we come to appreciate ceremonies like this more as we get older? Milestones that are marked no matter what anyone believes in? During this service, I felt the same lurking hypocrisy as previously while rejecting evil on Lucas's behalf. But this could mean the evil of the internet these days, or the evils of smartphones. Perhaps that's the kind of evil I can help him with in due course. But these misgivings didn't seem to matter so much because I simply felt so glad and grateful to be there. 20 years ago, I met a friend who would later deemed me responsible enough to act as some sort of mentor to her son. That's kind of a fate, isn't it? So that's the story. That's the story. And it's so profound that I decided to bring it to you. I decided, this is good to talk. Guys, as you come in, please like and share the live. I'm so happy you're here. We're talking about godparents, what the benefits are, and why is it something we still do or maybe is not doing as much as before. During a christening or a baptism ceremony, specific verbiage is often used when addressing the godparents. This varies slightly depending on the denomination and specific liturgical practices. But here is a general sample or general example of what might be said to godparents during a christening ceremony. So you may hear them say, I'm going to use my name, okay, Rowena. So it says, Rowena, you have been chosen to be godparent to, I'm going to use Julia because Julia is my goddaughter's name. So Rowena, you have been chosen to be godparent to Julia. This is a special and important role in which you are called to support Julia in her journey or in her spiritual journey. Then the minister is going to say, do you promise to nurture Julia in Christian faith, to pray for her, to help help guide her as she grow into the relationship with God? And then I in turn would say, I do. He's going to ask again, will you by your example witness, encourage Julia to follow Christ and to live according to the teaching of the gospel? Then I will respond, I will. Then it says, do you commit to supporting Julia's parents in their role as primary spiritual guides and caregivers? And then I will say, I will. And then the minister will say, may God bless you and give you wisdom and strength to fulfill this sacred responsibility. May you always be a source of love, guidance, and support for Julia, helping her to grow in faith and the knowledge of God's love. That's what he says. So sometimes godparents are given symbolic gifts such as maybe a candle or representing the light of Christ. And sometimes a special prayer may be offered asking for God's blessing and guidance as the grandparents take on their role. These elements are designed to emphasize the commitment and responsibilities of godparents in supporting the child's spiritual development. But then you say, what if I'm not a spiritual person? Do I have to agree with this verbiage? I don't know. Do you, as a godparent, then use your morals? Do you then use your values or your ethics to guide this child since you're not spiritual? And this is not a spiritual journey you're going to guide them through, but you still say, I do, or I will. I remember growing up in Jamaica, personal story. And I think my, who was my godmother again? Miss, oh my gosh, I forget the lady's name. My mother told me, I don't remember her though. I don't remember. Miss Sarah, I think something like that. I don't remember. Oh my gosh. But anyway, I remembered my growing up, and we used to pass through when they're going to church, and they pick you up and take you to church. Sometimes you go over for dinner. Sometimes you will they'll give you a little money, to buy ice cream, little things like that. That's what the godparents are. Sometimes they're spoilers. They spoil you just like grandparents would be. You know, I don't quite remember much of her, but she passed away years and years ago. I had to ask my mother while I was doing this research who was my godmother because I didn't remember her name. So but godmothers are usually in Jamaica are spiritual people. We usually do grandmothers as use grandmothers as somebody from the church. Always. I mean, I don't know why. Someone older, someone who is spiritual, that's what we usually do. Godmother, godfathers, but in today's society, it's different. You could even use your friend or same age group. You could use anybody as a godmother or godfather, or godparents, right? So the person would pick you up if the parents don't go to church. Those godmothers would pick up the child and take them wherever they are going, as a parent as well. You're stepping in, they give you little birthday gifts, birthday, little money and stuff in your envelope. Sometimes they will go to their house for holidays. So that's something that is like your extended family. That's not in your immediate family unit. So but it was fun. It usually is fun when your godparents, your godmother, your godfather comes and pick you up and you're gone because they always spoil you, right? Yes. So are you a godparent? How did you get chosen to be a godparent? How did they pick that role for you? What qualities do you look for in a person to entrust that responsibility of your child? So in this segment, I'm going to play a video from The Real, which is an American syndicate talk show. And it's a video on YouTube that they put up there. They talk about choosing godparents. So let's watch this and we'll come right back. So remember to like and share as you come in. Thank you for watching. And I'm going to play the video.
So we all know it takes a village to raise a child. Don't you know that? And part of that village are godparents. Traditionally, the role of a godparent is to help shape and develop the child until adulthood. And if God forbid something ever happens to their parents, they would step in.
Yeah.
And while many consider being asked to be a godparent is a huge honor, some people just don't want that responsibility, which begs the question. If you're asked to be a godparent, is it ever okay to say no?
Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
Yeah. People ask me all the time to be a godparent. I ain't about to do that because that's responsibility, right? You know?
No, but I can see why they do, because you are such a great
I'm an auntie. I'm not a godmama.
Okay.
Mama is very important in that word. Now, you can call me a god auntie, but a god mama, no, I ain't doing it.
See, you're braver than me. The fact that you're even down to say God auntie, auntie to me still sounds like she's someone who's responsible. She's always gonna have money. She's gonna have your back and pick you up at school when you need. I'm cousin Jeannie. I can't be a god. I can only be cousin.
Okay.
Cousin Jeannie's gonna be there when you need to be bailed out, maybe.
But Tam, tell us what's the responsibilities of a godparent? Seriously.
Okay. Well, I actually have to say that is probably one of the hardest decisions I ever had to make for my children is choosing their godparents.
Is that a necessity? Do you have to do it?
I think if you're thinking of the future, you want the best. Yes, the what ifs. You want the best for your children. And automatically, for me, I didn't want to upset any family members.
Yeah.
So when I was thinking of the godparents for my children, I was focusing on the parental guidelines, like how these parents actually parent their children.
So do they have to have had children?
Yes.
Oh,
for me.
you guys,
For me.
I'm
I want them to have.
All right, I'm out.
I want them to have had experience.
Okay.
And also,
Damn, you really thought about this.
Yeah, you really have to think about it. It's actually very, very, very important.
Okay.
For me. And then also, I just wanted to see their lifestyle, like how they lived, their lives, and where they lived.
Yeah.
So my children's godparents are actually my brother-in-law and sister-in-law.
Oh,
Eric and Hannah. Yes.
those are
Those are Adam's. Adam's brother is Eric, and his wife is Hannah. And I'm not Cree's godparent at all either.
Yeah.
That's my sister's son, and I felt like their life paralleled with Adam and I's.
Yes.
So it just made the decision a lot easier. I mean, I wanted my mama to be my kid's godparent, but then my mom was like, "No, honey, you can't do that. I'm older." You know, they have to be, I guess, a little bit younger because you want them to live a very long life in case something
Have you ever been asked to be a godparent?
I have, and I am.
To who?
My friend Courtney.
Okay.
And
Who is
I'm
that?
a godparent. Well, she actually lives in Texas. And my godchild, her name is Saren. And it's hard because we live in two different places. But what I loved about Courtney is that she asked me, you guys, actually before I became a parent.
Oh, wow.
But she knew me for a very long time, and she knew that I always wanted to be a mother, and that I was going to be a great mother. So I saw it as a huge compliment.
Yeah,
so
that's
thank
huge.
you.
Oh, wow.
In my whole life, I've been asked 3 times to be a godmother.
Yeah, you're great around children. I get
am. I'm really good. But I said, hell no.
No.
No. Because I do think it's an enormous responsibility to not only take care of the child the way the parents would have wanted, but to also make sure that your life is ready at any time that child is going to walk into your life.
Let me ask you something. Did you, like, when they asked you, did you say no immediately, or did you think about it?
No, I knew I couldn't, but I wanted them to say what they had to say. So the 3, it was Tuan Lee, Lakeisha Wade, and Jinx Macabenta from the Bay Area.
Ooh, that's a variety of people.
Yes. Those are the 3 people that asked me. They were all my close friends. But I said, after they said what they had to say, I said, let me be honest with you. I think that you already are such a qualified parent. I look at you and how you're about to raise this child. I see such a beautiful person that's going to be a part of our society in the future. I'm still trying to figure my life out. I don't even know.
Thank you for being honest, though.
I don't even know. And so
when you did that,
then people sometimes feel, because they see you differently than you see yourself, they're like, no, you'd be amazing. You'd be great. Like, you're this, you're that. They say what you say. But I'm like, I know myself, and I know also what I want to do. You know what I mean? I don't want to take care of children now in my own personal life. I don't want you to count on me to take care of yours later on.
let me ask the audience, how many people, round of applause, are godparents? How many people, round of applause, have been asked? Oh, yeah, it ain't a lot of people. Okay, all right.
But
that's interesting.
Anybody, how many round of applause turned it down?
Look, that one right there, she was like,
You know, I applaud your honesty, because as a parent, I would rather you tell me no up front than to take on that responsibility and not be 100% in it.
Yes.
Yeah.
So kudos to you.
Yeah, and I know a lot of
you too.
godparents who take on the responsibility because they're honored for it, and then they don't touch base with the child. They don't, because you have to be in the child's life. If something would happen, this kid just can't all of a sudden be brought over to you and be like, "Hi, nice to meet you."
But not only that, you guys. Adam, actually, once you get married, you take on your spouse's children. Adam has 4.
Nah, fam.
No, and they've actually stayed over, and you know, they're a lot, but overall, they're good kids.
So y'all really got 6 kids.
Pretty much.
Yeah.
Okay,
That's
all right.
Pretty much.
It's a big responsibility. Take it responsibly, please.
Okay, so there you have it. So you see, it's a big responsibility taking on being a godparent. Godparents are often chosen during the child baptism or christening. Traditionally, have both religious and secular roles. Their primary responsibilities include spiritual guidance, because in many Christian denominations, godparents are expected to help guide the child's religious upbringing and support their spiritual development. This may involve attending church services, which I know we did in Jamaica. The godparents used to just go grab the child from their parents and then take them to church. So that I remember. It's also religious education, and it's also such as being a right model in the faith. So spiritual guidance. The responsibility also is to support and mentorship, which is beyond religious duties. Godparents often serve as mentors, offering guidance, support, advice throughout the child's life. This relationship can be particularly important during significant life events such as birthdays, graduations, and other milestones. There also godparents are also responsible for as emergency caretakers. Traditionally, godparents were sometimes seen as potential guardians who take care of the child if the parent is unable to do so. Like in the audio we just heard, where she was saying maybe you have to go pick up the child from school because the parent or the person who usually picks up the child cannot. So you're like an emergency person and you have to be ready. So there, if the parents are not able to do so, you're supposed to be willing to jump in and assist. So while this role is more symbolic today, some families still considered it as important aspect of a godparent relationship. It is also their responsibility for cultural and personal significance. In many cultures, having godparents is a meaningful tradition. In Jamaica, we usually do, when I was growing up, we usually christen and have godparents at our christening. Sometimes the child would get christened as what, few months old. Sometimes they could wait until they're walking or something like that. But we do, because we're a Christian-based country, so we do have that tradition where we christen our children and use godparents. But some people don't use godparents. Some people don't. They just christen their children and be done with it. But in many cultures, having godparents is a meaningful tradition, reinforcing bonds between families and friends. The choice of godparents can reflect close personal relationships and mutual respect. The role of godparents can vary widely. It depends on their cultural, religious, and personal factors. In some families, godparents may play a very active role in the child's life, while in others, their involvement may be more limited to just the ceremonial occasions. Choosing a godparent is an important decision. We all know that. As we all hear with Mari, what's I don't remember which one of the twin it was in the video we just listened to. She said she took a lot of time in choosing her godparents for her children because it's a really significant, it's a really meaningful or important thing for her. And she chose wisely. She chose someone who was aligned with her ideology, with her practice, with she chose someone who pair with what she wants in a godparent. But it may vary though. Choosing a grandparent is an important decision, and they will play a significant role in your child's life. Growing up in Jamaica during my years, my younger years, parents usually ask people in the church, can you be my child's godmother or godfather? It used to be an honor, right? Choosing it as a reference of spirituality. Things have changed nowadays, though. A lot of people just get godparents because they think the person can take care of their family, their kids. They may do godparents because the person doesn't have any children, and they may want to honor by giving them that child as your goddaughter, your godson. They also may do it because they're honoring the person because the person maybe were influential in their family, and they want to honor them by, naming the person as a godparent. It also could be financial gain. It's a lot of different things why people would choose a godparent. Sometimes it's personal, could be spiritual, and so forth. So here are some key qualities though when you're looking to select a godparents. If you're in that situation, you might have gone through this, but you do have grandparents, you have friends and family that may be going through this. You may have people who are have children and looking for a godparent for their child. So you might, if you're listening, you can listen to these qualities. You can share with someone what the qualities are that you could look for, and it all based on your perception. It based on what you believe in and what you want for your child. All right, so because you're looking into your child's future. First is spiritual and religious alignment. If you want a godparent to guide your child in a specific religion, ensure that they share the same faith and are active in their religious community. That's one thing if you're looking for a spiritual or a religious alignment. Choose someone who embodies the spiritual and moral values you want your child to learn. That's number one. These are qualities you're going to look for in godparent. Number two is moral integrity, ethical standards. So you look for someone who embodied the spiritual or moral values that you want. The ethical standard is look for someone who upholds high ethical and moral standards. The godparent should be someone who your child can look up to. It should be someone who they can emulate in terms of behaviors and values. If you want to choose because of emotional maturity, choose a godparent who is emotionally stable and mature, capable of providing guidance during challenging times. They should be empathetic and able to understand and respond to your child's emotional needs. If you're choosing someone because of commitment, you have to ensure that your godparent is willing to make long-term commitment to be involved in your child's life. They have to be reliable. They should be dependable and able to follow through on their responsibilities as godparents. If you're looking for someone to be a godparent, you have to look into positive relationships with the parents. Trust and communication is a factor. Choose someone who you trust and can communicate with you openly, who you can communicate with openly. Consider how the potential godparent fits in your family dynamics and their relationships with you and your family members. Because you don't want no drama. So you got to choose wisely. You can look at the capability or the compatibility with your child. Look for someone who has the potential to build a strong and positive bond with your child. They should be able to understand and connect with your child's personality and needs. The godparents should be someone who will engage and support your child in their endeavors and their growth. That supportive attitude. They should have a positive and nurturing attitude, offering constructive guidance. When you're searching or trying to find someone who's to be your godparent, you have to look at availability, proximity, and time. Ideally, godparents should live relatively close to be able to assist, to be able to visit, though it can be less crucial with modern communication tools. Time is also on the availability side. They should have the time and willingness to invest in your child, invest in their lives, and attend important events and being present when needed. Look for someone with life experiences and wisdom who can offer valuable advice and perspective to your child. Like in the video we just listened to, she looked for someone who can offer valuable advice, who were the same, who had life expectancy. She said the twin, the Lori, she's the Lori twin, Maury twin. She said that she looked for someone who already had children, because once the person had children, she'll be able to see what that mother is, how that or that parent, how they are, and how they take care of their children, and what she would like in that person. So she used her what her her brother-in-law and his wife. Yeah. We also can look into if they that the parent or the person you're choosing to be a godparent should be capable of mentoring your child through various stages of their life. The potential godparent should be enthusiastic and willing to take on the responsibility associated with the role. See, what was her May? I forget her name. She said she told them no when she was asked, "Would you like to be godparent?" She said no, because she wasn't ready. So you got to be open. You got to be honest. She wasn't ready. She right. I can't even take care of myself. How I'm gonna take care of your kids? So you have to be open and honest, and don't take on the role when you know you cannot fulfill it. It's a big responsibility, because you're acting as the spiritual being for this child, this godly person, God parents. So if you can't take on the role, just simply say no with explanation. You don't have to. Ensure they fully understand that it's expected of them as godparents, and that they should be prepared to fulfill those duties. So, practical considerations. We know sometimes things aren't practical when it comes to that in the society that we are in today. So, stability, considering the potential godparents, right? Legal and financial stability. Sometimes that will impact how this person or how this godparent provide or support or help or assist your child because of legal or financial stability. Even for guardianship, if you're considering the person to be your godchild, godparents, then it's somebody you may be looking for as guardianship. If anything should happen to us, this person, I am entrusting this woman or this man to take care of my child if I am not around. That's what you're saying. So you have to consider them as potential guardians. Ensure that they are willing to be able to take on this responsibility. As I said before, they have to have open communication, open and be able to discuss important topics with your child as they grow. They should be able to be good listeners, provide safe space for your child to express their thoughts and feelings. That's what they should do. So involving the potential godparent. Have an open discussion with the potential godparent about what you expect from them in this role. I have two children, Ayana and Andre, and they both have godparents. But it was never talked about. I don't think I ever say what was expected and not expected of them. I'm thinking they were adults, and they should know what godparents are about and their role. So I never discussed it. And as a result, Andre's godfather, he's around, but Andre is an adult now, so probably that doesn't matter anymore. What is it? There's a time limit to be godparents? I don't think so. I think you just become something else, maybe a mentor or whatever. But he's not, he's not involved in my son's life as a godfather should, if the role of a godfather is to to ensure that they're, when you're needed, you could step in. I don't even know he knows my son's phone number, but that's just how life is, right? That's how life is. Also, with his godmother, I don't even know where she is. I don't even know. We lost communication, and we never, and years ago. So what's the use? Some people may say of a godparent if they're not around. Is it just tradition, or is it culture? What is it? Because is it beneficial? What is it when you choose a godparent? because sometimes they're not there. There are lots of things that could cause them not to be there, but I'll discuss that in a few. We also, when you looking for a godparent, you have to ensure that there is mutual understanding and agreement on their responsibilities and their involvement. Ask about their willingness to commit being a godparent and what they envision their role could be. You have to look at genuine enthusiasm and readiness to take on this important role in your child's life. So, by considering these qualities and practical aspects, you can make a well informed decision that will benefit your child. It will benefit your child's spiritual, moral, and personal growth. So, those are things you can look into when you're deciding to choose a godparent for your child. Or if you're a guardian or grandparents and all of those things, you can advise, you can talk to or discuss with your child or your grandchildren, whoever they are that is pregnant and looking for a godparent for their child. You can tell them the difference, the benefits, what to look for, what's expected. You give them these things, give them these tools that I'm telling you about, and the tools that I said to choosing a godparent, what to look for. It's religious and spiritual alignment, if that's what you're looking for. You have moral integrity, emotional maturity, commitment, reliability, positive relationship with the parents, compatibility with your child, understanding, supportive attitude, availability, because they have to be available, life experience and wisdom, and willingness to take on the role, which is legal and maybe financial stability and communication skills and stuff like that, and discuss expectations. So those are the things you can look into when you are looking for a godparent for your child. So let's take a look at the role of godparents across cultures, because you may think, oh, it's Jamaican this or America that or whatever, but let's see what it's like in other cultures and other religions. All right. So religion and culture significance, like in the Christian tradition, baptism. In many Christian denominations, godparents are chosen during baptism of a child. They make a commitment to support the child's spiritual development and then guide them in the faith. Godparents are expected to be role models in the Christian faith, helping the child to grow in their religious understanding and practices. With the term godparent is primarily associated with Christianity. Other religions and cultures have similar roles. They may call it something else, where adults are chosen to guide and support a child's spiritual and moral development. Here are some examples, and right here I'm going to apologize if I say the names incorrectly. I am just pronouncing it the way it's spelled, so before I apologize. So, Judaism. In Judaism, they do something called Sandek and Kavata. Sandek and Kavata. All right. So Sandek. The Sandek holds the baby during the Brit Milah circumcision ceremony. And hi Lorna, thanks for watching. Thank you for joining me. And the role involves in the ceremony, the circumcision ceremony, and it's often seen as a spiritual mentor for the child. The kavata, this role involves bringing the baby to the place where the Brit Milah is performed and can also imply a special connection with the child. So you see in the Judaism, it's the Sandek and Kavata. All right. So in Islam, what are they in Islam? Maybe they're not called godparents, but listen to this. In Islam, it's called Aqiqah. 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 It's a naming ceremony. And during the Aqiqah, which is the Islamic naming ceremony, close family members or friends play significant roles in the child's life, similarly to godparents, by supporting the child's spiritual upbringing. Hinduism. In Hinduism is something called samskaras. Samskaras. It's a ceremony. And in Hinduism, there are several samskaras, which are rites of passage. Throughout a person's life, they have a lot of them. During these ceremonies, respected adults often take on mentorship roles, guiding the child in their spiritual and moral development. In Buddhism, it's called Upanayana. Upanayana, which is an initiation ceremony. In some Buddhist traditions, children go through an initial ceremony where a mentor or elder guides them into their spiritual journey, teaching them Buddhist principles and practices. So it's Upanayana. Yes. And in Sikhism, there is Amrit Sanchar. Amrit Sanchar. Initiation ceremony. It's just like baptism or the christening. All of these things where spiritual or godparents come together for the spiritual development of the child. And this in these religions or cultures, these are what they're called. So in the Sikhism, Amrit Sanchar is the initiation ceremony, and during the Amrit Sanchar, trusted adults or elders often play significant roles in guiding the child's spiritual development within the Sikh faith. Community mentorship, such as Sangat, within the Sikh community, the concept of Sangat, which is community, is essential. Elders and respected community members often mentor and guide the children in their spiritual and moral development. I guess that's where the term comes to say it takes a village. You never know. With indigenous and tribal cultures, elders and mentors guide and teach the children. In many indigenous and tribal cultures, elders play a crucial role in passing down spiritual and cultural knowledge to the younger generation. They share or they serve as mentors, teaching children about their heritage, their values, and spiritual beliefs. We also have secular and modern practices, mentorship program, non-religious guidance, because sometimes some people are not religious. They don't have a religion. They're atheists or something like that. So in secular contexts, mentorship programs often provide children with adult role models who offer guidance, support, and advice. These mentors help shape the child's moral and personal development. So each of these roles, though varied in practice and tradition, share the common goal of supporting a child's spiritual, moral, and personal growth through the guidance and respect of trusted adults. So you see where they you can compare and they all align. Spiritually, they are all aligned because it's what's in the well-being of the child, personal growth, moral growth, values, and spiritual development. So each of these roles varies, but it's you're putting a trusted person, a trusted adult in the child's life that's going to make the child a better person, that's going to teach values, morals, teach principles that aligns with what you believe in. So remember to like and share as you come on. Thanks for joining me today. I'm so happy you're here. We're going to continue talking about godparents and what the benefits are and what to look for when you are trying to find a godparents for your children. So here are other reasons why parents choose a godparent. We talk about some, but here is another which you may think wasn't said. So we have practical and emotional reasons. So godparents often or take on mentorship role, helping to teach children the importance of life skills and offering advice as they grow. They can provide listening ears, emotional support, and especially during challenging times. The godparents often offer support to the parents by helping them with childcare and providing a sense of an extended family. In some cases, godparents might be considered potential guardians if something happened to the child's parents, although this is typically a legal arrangement. But if something should happen to the parents, then the godparent would step in. We have godparents often play significant role in special occasions like birthdays and religious milestones like communions or confirmations and other family events. They may give special gifts and keepsake to commemorate the important event in the child's life. Then you have bonding, and you also have support network, which is parents become a part of a child's broader support network, contributing to their overall well-being and development. And so there's difference. Yeah, guardians. Yes, Lorna. That's what. Yes, you're so right. There could be guardians as well. So the role of godparents can adapt to the need of the family and child, with responsibilities varying based on individual circumstances and relationships. Families might customize the role of godparents to fit their specific values, beliefs, and their needs. Right? So the concept of godparents can be extended to include trusted friends. Some people do that, and some people are family members who commit to being active and supportive presence in the child's life. So many people take on the role of godparents, but you have to take it seriously. In religious and cultural contexts where godparenting is practiced, individuals often see it as significant responsibility. For whatever the reason, the role typically involves supporting the child's upbringing, both spiritually and sometimes practically, such as offering guidance, becoming a mentor, and potentially stepping in as a guardian if needed. People who agree to be godparents often do so out of a sense of honor and commitment to the child and their families, aiming to provide a stable and supportive presence in the child's life. Personally, for my son's godmother, as we said, we lost communication, so I don't know where he is. Lorna said, not knowing what godparents' duties are. Yeah, you guys have to talk about it. You have to discuss these things, because when I was just earlier I had mentioned, then when I christened my son, we never discuss what godparents roles are and what they need to do or not do. I just thought they know what they should do, or how they should how they should act or take part in my child's life. I didn't know that, but it seems like nothing happened. They just get a title, godparent, and that was it. I don't even know where she is anymore. That's the godmother, and the godfather is around, but I was saying my son is older now, so he might not need a godparent, but he does need a mentor or someone he could talk to, something like that. They're men, boys, Nicola said, I think I have a godmother, but can't remember who it is. I had to ask my mother who was my godparent or godmother, because I don't remember who it was. And she told me who it was. So I was like, oh my gosh. And I had to call somebody else to ask, to confer, who was my godmother, or who used to live wherever, because I don't remember her being in my life as a godmother. Lorna say it is supposed to be a discussion between all parties involved. Exactly. And when you go to church to do it, all they give you is that verbiage that I read earlier, and you said you promised to do, and you all of this stuff, and you said I do, and then after that you eat, drink, make merry, and go home. and you don't fulfill that responsibility as a godparent. With my daughter, she has one godmother and two godmothers and two godfathers, and none of them are in her life. None. She has two. One of them is, we're still friends, and she once in a back then she used to invite us to church and stuff like that. The godfathers, they're just there. I don't even know where one of them is. They're just there. They are. I think when you go to church and do the baptismal, I think the godparents are on the child's paper, right? On the christening paper. I think they have to sign something. Yeah, I think so. But they did. I don't think they know their responsibility. Sometimes you have to say you're the child godmother. You're not gonna come take her and do this or do that with her, or, spend some times with her or something. Maybe they don't know. They just look at it as, oh my goodness, she asked me to be. Oh, I'll be honored to do it. But they don't know their responsibilities. They don't know how to play the role. you know so it's only when he sees her that he impact guidance into her. One of Ayana's godfather, when he sees her, he will say, hey, you get so big, look at you, so beautiful. And then he start with the guidance thing and talking to her about values and morals and stuff like that. Nicola said, to a certain extent, because some communities are moving away from idea of it takes a village, the godmother engagement is lost. I agree. I don't think it takes a village anymore because of the way society is. Parents don't want nobody talking to their kids no more. Not even the teacher can talk to your child with an like you being a person of, what would you say? What's that term? Somebody you have to listen to. They don't want that. Some religion church know what godparents' role are. Yes. Yes, you're correct, Lorna. But some people don't want nobody talking to their kids. And you, even if you are the child's godparent, they don't want you to, yes, Nicola, authority. Yes, they don't want nobody of authority to speak to their children. So imagine as the godparents, and if you have to give them, advise them, talk to them about morals and values and all those things and guidance, they don't want to hear it because you're not my mom, you're not my dad. No, it's hard nowadays. This takes a village thing don't work no more. Because I remember growing up, and I used to go to school at Kendall College School in Hanover, Grange, Hanover. I used to go to school there, and when I was coming home from school, I couldn't do anything, let nobody see me. Because if they get home before me, get to my grandmother before me, I know I'm getting a beating. No, because and sometimes they call to you, you have to listen because they had authority then, but now it's lost. It's lost. Even in school, they're fighting off their own parents. So you imagine, you know. So why do some parents stop playing that role, or even they don't play the role? So I look into that because I'm looking into my situation. I'm looking into my story of children's godparents and why they're not a part of their lives. So one of it could be change in relationships. So sometimes the relationship between the godparents, thanks, Lorna. Sometimes the relationship between the godparents and the family may change over time. This could be due to distance because they moved, and a disagreement or other personal reasons that strain the relationship. So as I said before, that I am a godmother for a girl, Julia. That's my mother's friend daughter, and that daughter and myself were friends, and I became her godmother for her second child. I love that little girl. She's not little anymore. Now she's in the army. And back then, she moved. So I used to go over there, get her, comb her hair. Cause I never had only Andre at the time, and that little girl, she was like my daughter. So I had stepped in the role of being a godparent. But then she moved out of the state of New York, and she went all the way to Florida, and I didn't get to see her much often. Not a lot. Nicola said days gone by, the parents would look to choose the godparents who can contribute financially. They do that as well. Whoever can give the most money, financial support, which is, they could do what they want to do, but there's other things more than finance. There's morals and values and guidance and ethics. What are what you believe. So I said to her, so she moved away to Florida, and because she moved away to Florida, the relationship changed. So I would call sometimes on birthdays. I would send a card with a little money in there for her birthday, and over time the distance just became an issue, and we fall apart. Now she's old. Now she's in the army. I don't even get to see her. She comes up here sometimes, but I never get to see her. I see pictures of her, and she's grown. She's so beautiful. And I wish I could have that relationship with her, but I'm going to try. After reading or discussing, or after I looking into this topic, it pushed me, or it is putting that I would say, I'm getting to the point now where I want to reach out to her again. I mean, I do reach out to the mother, but I'm going to see if I could get information on how to get to talk with Julia, so that I could build, now become like a mentor, or something to her. Not really a godmother anymore, because I think that, you be more godparents when they're younger. But now, as an adult herself, it's going to be more a mentorship or a guardian. It's just somebody to talk to, Yeah. So also, why do people stop godparenting? Maybe it's really just our cultural shift. It could be either that the godparent or the child's family undergoes a significant change in religious beliefs or cultural practice, and the role of godparent may no longer align with the current beliefs or values. Lorna said, now you're understanding what a godmother role is. Yes. Yep. Yes. Now that I'm reading this, I'm like, I wasn't doing what is really it entails. I thought I was, and I had slack off because, they moved away. But now I'm like reconsidering, like I should reach out. Godparenting is not, it doesn't end. It's always until, so, you get, until death do you part, because that's what parents are. So godparents are the same. You don't leave the child because of changes in relationship or whatever. If you have a situation with the parent, it doesn't mean that, or disagreement or any grievances, it doesn't mean that you do that to the child. Whatever you have with the parents is between you and the parents. The child has nothing to do with any issues you may have, right? So that I'm gonna step up. I'm gonna do what I can to make that happen, and I will come back to you with this and see, to give you like an update if I do get in contact with her. Because remember, I said she's in the army, so I'm not sure where she's at right now. I'll have to contact the parent. Also, the reason why some godparents could stop honoring their role as godparents could be personal circumstances, life circumstances such as relocation, such as personal challenges. It could be medical, or it could be commitments that may make it difficult for a godparent to fulfill their responsibilities effectively. It could also be, as I said before, disagreements or conflicts with could be with the godparents and the child's family, and the godparent just say, you know what, I'm just gonna step away. I'm just gonna not be a part of this thing, and they just stop being godparents. They step back from the role. Sometimes they even have grievances because the parent chose you as the godparent and not them. So it builds a strife in the family, in the relationship. So it happens. It also could be the lack of involvement. Sometimes a godparent may gradually become less involved in the child's life due to busy schedule. I think that's where I fell. I felt the lack of involvement, because one is distant, and the other is the lack of involvement because of schedules or priorities, or the initial connection is fading. But overall, the decision to stop being a godparent can influence by a variety of factors, both personal and relational, that affects the dynamics of godparent child relationship. And overall, the decision to stop being a godparent can be influenced by factors, but we know that situations happen, life happens, and we just roll with the flow. Look, now we just had a situation in the Caribbean countries with this storm. Life happens, and sometimes we just get we just get a side hit, and we just have to roll with the punches and recoup and rebuild. So it does happen, and I'm hoping for those people who are suffering, who have lost whatever it is they lost, because there's 2 lives taken in Jamaica because of this storm. I'm hope that things will get better for them, and they'll get some help, or the help they need. But that happens, with the overall, why parents or godparents would stop being playing their role. So what are the benefits, you will ask? You said, how does it benefit? What is the benefit of having a godparents? Godparents can provide several potential benefits for the child. We've named so much so far. We talk about spiritual and moral guidance. Godparents often play a role in the child's spiritual upbringing, providing guidance in matters of faith and morals. Godparents, they could also benefit from a support system. They can serve as additional adult figures who offer emotional support and advice outside of the immediate family. They could also provide gifts and celebrations, if that's something that you're into with the financial part of it. They traditionally, godparents may give gifts on special occasions like birthdays and holidays, fostering a sense of connection and celebration. We also talk about role models. They can serve as positive role models, offering examples of characters, behaviors, values that complement those taught by parents. Sometimes it's inheritance of responsibility. In some cultures, godparents may have legal responsibilities such as guardianship if something happens to the parents. Also, another benefit is cultural and social connection. For families with cultural or religious traditions involving godparents, it can strengthen the ties to heritage and community. So overall, the role of godparent varies widely depending on cultural, religion, and familial practices, but their presence often enriches the child's life through additional support and guidance. And with ever pros, you always have cons. But I try to be on both, be in the middle, not for any specific, but I do give my yes, guardianship. But I do give my what you would call it, pros and cons, yes and no, because I don't want to be biased. So I try to do both, right? So here we go. So while having godparents can be beneficial, there are also potential drawbacks to this to consider. So what are these, you might say, Rowena? Because having godparents is just like a second person, like a second parent. So what could be bad? What could be bad about that? Hi, Nicola, Henry, thanks for watching. Thanks for joining my live. So what could be bad about having godparents? First, I thought about that too, but so I researched, and these are the things that came up. Number one is unfulfilled expectations. If expectations about the role of godparents differ between parents and godparents, it can lead to misunderstanding or disappointment. I believe my understanding, like I believe in my circumstances right now, that I don't see where it was beneficial because of unfulfilled expectations. I thought a godparent should be someone who will step in, pick up the child, take them here, come to the birthday parties, take them out, stuff like that. Just be there for the child. But it never happened. So for me, that's a drawback. I don't see where it's beneficial. What is your take on that? What do you think? What do you think? That's for me. I'm going from my experience, but I'm bringing it to you. All right. So that's one. Unfulfilled expectations. So it never happened. So it does, like, why some people don't even have godparents. They didn't have that for their children. Is that an unfulfilled expectation? Is that a drawback? Also, geographical distance. That's a drawback because when you have godparents, I believe that they should be close by. I believe they should be close by where you can call on them in case of emergency. Your child is sick at school, you have nobody. Hey Jane, hey John, can you go and pick up Ayana at school for me, please? They will be down as an emergency contact person on the child's emergency contact form, right? That's where they'll put it because she's a person who he or she's a person you trust to give them the title of godparents, and thus you will have them on there to pick up your child. So distance will be a drawback. If godparents live far away, maintaining a close relationship and providing regular support may be challenging, which is correct. I know we said, oh, we could use the phone, they could call, they could FaceTime and all of this, but it's different. That's something you can do worst case scenario, but the typical or the one that works best if if the godparents live close enough to go to for the parent to visit and be a part of the child's life in presence, not over the phone or long distance. Another drawback that they're saying is changing circumstances. Life circumstances such as relocation, changes in belief, or personal issues may affect the availability or ability of godparents to fulfill their roles effectively. So when that happens, why you need a godparent? They're not going to be involved. They can't do anything because their ability to be a godparent is changed. Are they affected? So they're not going to fulfill it to the best of their ability. So why do I need a godparent? They have aunties and uncles and cousins and all of other people who may be mentors in their lives. They don't need a godparent. That's what we say, right? That in the video or that we listened to, she said she'll be a cousin. She didn't even want to be an auntie because she said because she was saying that auntie still have a responsibility. So she said, no, I'll be a cousin. Right? So it could be a drawback. Also, inconsistent involvement. Godparents who are unable to consistently participate in the child's life may create inconsistency or confusion in the child's understanding of their role. So when that happens, it could be a drawback because you're just confusing the child. You're here one day, gone tomorrow. Just like some adults in our lives, even some parents in our lives, they're here, they're gone, they pop in a year after, pop out, and all of that. So what's the use having a godmother who is not consistent, who just pop in when they feel like, or pop out, like that? So that could be a drawback, having a godparent. Also, financial and material expectations. That's what Nicola had mentioned earlier. Like some of them is financial gain. It's not what Nicola said, right? Choose the godparents who can contribute financially. Yeah. So if you're expecting that your godparent is gonna be taking care of your child financially, like, the child need a pair of shoes, ask your grandfather. Ask your godmother. Oh, the child is going on a trip and they want, ask your godfather, ask your godmother. You know, sometimes there can be expectations or pressure related to financial support or material gifts from godparents, which may not align with the parental values and expectation. And because of this, because you're not going to get the financial support that you thought you would get based on your beliefs or your values or expectation, then it's going to be a drawback. Like you're going to be like, so why do I have a godparent if you can't provide financial support? So there, these are the drawbacks that I found, that I, you know, researched, and these are what came up. So understanding these potential drawbacks can help parents and godparents communicate effectively about expectations, about boundaries, about ensuring that the relationship remains positive, supportive for their child. So during a christening, remember to like and share the live, guys, you know, as you come in. During a christening, baptism ceremony, you know, we, as I said, we have those specific verbiage that address the godparents. So all of that you have to take into consideration. When you said I will or I do, it's something that's sealed. It's something that you have to take seriously. It's more than just a title. Godparents is more than just a title. You're entrusted with the responsibility of taking care of another child. That's what it's like your child. In the video we watched, she said that she has two children, and the person who is the godparents, they have four. So now she said it's a, she have six. They have six because now those two children who they are godparents for is added to their families. So now they have six children. So you, the role of godparents is at the point where they're your children too. If they call and say, can I come over for whatever, you have to accommodate them if you can. You take them on vacations too. You do things with them because they're like your children. They are your children. You take that oath. You take that what you call it, say the I do, to when the priest or the pastor or whoever, when the christening happened, they say, will you be responsible? And you said, I do. And I think you hold up your hand too, right? No, I think at that time you were holding the baby and you said, I do, or we will. Yes. So when do you stop being a godparent, you ask? Because I asked that question myself. I was like, so is it a lifetime position? Is it, do I have to continue until death do we part? Yes. It might not be as forceful or as engaging or involving as they were when they were little kids, but we do. God parenting as a spiritual and supportive role, that is always going to be around. It does not have a specific age. Yes, Lorna, it's lifetime. Yes, there's no stopping. You continue. It might change based on circumstances or the child growing up and now may not need certain things, but you're always going to be a part of their lives. You're always going to be there for whenever they need you, to talk to listen, to support, you know, to bounce things off. You're maybe now they're going to have children of their own and they wanted to ask you questions about being a father or being a mother and stuff like that. So you're always going to be a parent, a godparent. But it does have a specific age at which it officially stops. You don't just say, okay, now you're 18, you're a man, you're a woman, go. Mother and father role. Yes. Yes, Lorna. You know, you don't just say, no, you're an adult. I'm done with you. Now you're off to college, or you finish college, you're out there. Now you're married. No, it's a lifetime job. Just like mothers and fathers, they are lifetime. Here are some general points though. So in Catholicism, in the Catholic Church, godparents are chosen during baptism and are expected to assist in the child's spiritual development. While there is no formal end to this role, the godparents' active involvement often becomes less formal as the child grows older. Other Christian denominations, similarly to Catholicism, other Christian denominations have godparents who take on a role during baptism and help guide the child's spiritual journey without a specific end date. So there's no end date there. During the early years and adolescence, godparents may be more actively involved in the child's life, attending religious ceremonies and birthdays and other significant events. As the child reaches adulthood, the godparent's role may shift more towards being a mentor or a supportive figure rather than guide in religious practices. In some cultures, the role of a godparent can be more encompassing, involving not just religious guidance, but also social and emotional support. The involvement can be lifelong, depending on the relationship between the godparent and the godchild. You also have lifelong bonds. In many cases, the bond between godparents and godchild is a lifelong relationship. The nature of this relationship can evolve over time, transitioning from more guiding role to a friendship or mentorship. Just like in parenting, sometimes as the children get older and become adults and all of that, you may hear a parent say, "Oh, she's my best friend." Or you may hear a child say about the mother or the parent, "He or she's my best friend." Because now the role kind of come together as adults now in a friendship, a mentorship, partnering together like lifelong bonds. So while the active involvement of a godparent may decrease as the child grows older, the relationship and responsibilities associated with it don't have a formal endpoint, and it can last throughout the child's life. Godparents play a significant role in spiritual and personal development of their godchildren. Here are some resources that can help godparents in this role. If you don't know your role, as Lorna said, they may not know what their role is. You got to communicate with them. And as we said earlier, that we have to discuss that, have open relationship, talk to them what you're expecting of them. Tell them what you're expecting of them. Before they go and become godparents, tell them, this is what I'm expecting of you. If I am asking you to be a godmother or godfather, if you decide to do it, these are your responsibilities. Speak about it, talk about it, make sure they know about it. So these are some books you can read. If you some resources. The first one is called The Godparent Book: Ideas and Activities for Godparents and Their Children by Elaine Ramshaw. I'm going to put that in the chat. Let me copy it. I'm going to put it in the chat so you can see it there. All right. So that's the first book. All right. So I put it in there. So the first book is The Godparent Book: Ideas and Activities for Godparents and Their Godchildren by Elaine Ramshaw. The second book is Being a Godparent, and this is a spiritual guide for parents and godparents by Leo Madigan. The first book, the first book, The Godparent Book: Ideas and Activities for Godparents and Their Godchildren by Elaine Ramshaw, it offers a variety of ideas and activities to help godparents and godchildren bond and grow together spiritually. The next one is Being a Godparent: A Spiritual Guide for Parents and Godparents by Leo Madigan. And this guide provides insight into the responsibilities and spiritual guidance that godparents can offer. So I'm gonna put that in the chat as well, so you have that for your reference. So here is the other one. Did I put the first one in? Did I put them in? It's there now, right? Yes. Okay. And then the third one, the third book that you can use is called The Godparent Journey. The Role of the Godparent in the Christian Community by Susan Gabbert. So the Godparent Journey, the Role of the Godparent in the Christian Community by Susan Gabbert. And this book explores the significance of godparent in the Christian faith and offers practical advice. So I'm going to put that in here. So you have 3 resources when it comes to books on godparent. If you don't know, now you know. You can't say I didn't tell you. I'm giving you these please. I'm giving you these resources so that you can go and see for yourself, and you too can go do your own research. You don't have to take my word for it. You can do your research. I tell you that all the time. All right. So, and we also have websites. If you don't want to go get the book, you can go on websites. There's a lot of websites out there. There's one called Godparenting, and it's a comprehensive website with resources, articles, and forums for godparents. So you can go on there. There's it's godparenting.com. Let me put that in the chat. So it's godparenting, G-O-D. It's godparenting.com. Let me put the www dot. Oh, wrong place. So it's godparenting.com. And then, so that site, on that site, you find resources, articles, and forums for godparents. We also have another one called Loyal Press. Loyalpress.com. It offers articles and resources for godparents, including tips on how to support your godchild's spiritual journey. So I'm going to put that one in. It's called loyalpress.com. So I'm going to type this in. This is all resources for you to use, guys. www.loyalpress.com. Okay, so that's that. And then we have Catholic Answers. Catholic Answers provides answers to common questions about the role of godparents and how to fulfill these responsibilities effectively. So it's called Catholic Answers, but it's just Catholic.com. Catholic.com. So I'm going to put that in as well. And you'll have all of this. And you have all of this at your disposal. You can go in and you can look at these, you can read them, you can forward them, show them to other people, let them see what it's like, what the responsibilities are. It has resources, it has articles and tips that you can use as we to utilize the resources that can, effectively support and guide their godchildren in their spiritual and personal development. So as godmothers, I make it a point that there are, for important events like birthdays and graduations, but also for the small moments, I try to create traditions like having special outing. You could do that with your kids. I used to do that with Julia before they moved away. I would go and get her and we go do things together. That's when they were younger, but that's something you can do. You can make it a date for you and your goddaughter, like once a month you do something special. It will help build a strong bond and show that that show your grandchildren, your godchildren, that you are a constant presence in their lives. It's important to choose someone who shares your values and who you trust implicitly. Look for individuals who are genuinely interested in being a part of your child's life and who you believe will be a positive influence. It is also good to have a conversation with potential godparents about what the role entails and ensure they are comfortable with it. If they cannot fulfill that role, tell them don't take it, because the role of a godparent is not just a title, it's an important role. It's parenting, and it's hard sometimes, right? So make sure that they know what it is, what it entails, and they're comfortable with it. I believe personally that godparents provide an extended network of love and support, which is invaluable. In today's fast paced world, having more than one person, having people who genuinely care about your child or your children's well being can make a huge difference. And it may go back to what Nicola says about it takes a village. The village might not be like in your community, but it could be in your family. Everybody do something, even the godparents. In my community here, there are people that live on this block where I live that are like family. They look out for my children. Sometimes they will see my back then when my son was, misbehave, I would get a call. I saw your son. I saw your son. He's climbing on the fence. A Jamaican, yes. Grandparents love and care. Yes, yes, Lorna. Yes. Yeah. So I was like, oh my gosh, they care. She care about the well-being of my child. She doesn't want to see my child get in trouble. But sometimes my son would come home and say, oh, she chat too much. She talks too much. I said, she's looking out for your well-being. So it does take a village. My daughter, my daughter is a quiet one. She doesn't really give me any trouble. She's very special. And she's different from my son. Boys do those things. But I don't really get complaints or anything about her because she's not really out there doing stuff like that. But so that's different. But the last time someone said something about my daughter was that this lady, Miss Molly, and she says, you know what? I want to have Ayana down here. I want to teach her how to crochet because she's a big crochet. She's what is it called? Crochet by Viv, something like that. That's her thing. She has a website and all that you could go and look at as well. Crochet by Viv. I think she have it on Facebook or YouTube or something. But she said to me, for the summer, I want to teach your daughter how to crochet. It takes a village, right? So I am going to, my daughter came and she said, Ma, I said, is that something you'd like to do? So she said, yes, I don't mind. So I spoke to Miss Molly and I said to her, Ayana told me so and so. She said, oh yes, I would like to teach her. I like her to, take something. I said, great. What are the things do I need? What are the materials? She said, you don't have to give me anything. I have everything she'll need. I said, perfect. When do you want to start? Because at the moment my daughter is in camp, sleepaway camp. So when she comes back, that's what she'll be doing for the summer. She'll be learning how to crochet. Isn't that good? So it does take a village, and I'm so happy I have people around that I can depend on. I have my neighbor as well. If anything happens, she said, Rowena, so and so and so. If something is happening on the block, she'll call me. She'll send me a message. So it takes a village, and I'm so happy I have those people around me who I can depend on. If the other day she has a package came to her home and she said, can you go and pick up my packages on the porch? I don't want anybody to take it away, because they have porch pirates around here where people just take people's packages which doesn't belong to them. So I went over there and pick it up. That's the type of relationship I have with some of my neighbors. I try to be that person who say hello and good morning and all of that, but it goes to an extent. So it does take a village, guys, and I really think that's a part of a community that will look out for your children's best interests. So I'm thank you so much. I don't know if you have any questions. I really thank you for your support. Thank you for the being involved and talking back to me as we communicate and dialogue. I really appreciate it. This is a topic that I just stumbled upon this morning, and I bring it all together so that I could have something for you to discuss today. This is Rowena Explorez Parenting Without Manual. Guys, remember when we were born, or when you become a parent, you didn't have any manual. You just go by what you know you want for your child. If you grew up in an abusive family, you know you don't want to be abusive to your children, so you tend not to. Or if you didn't grow up in whatever environment you grew up in, and you say, okay, I don't want this for my child, or I want better. You parent that way. You parent to what you know. Oh, the topic prompted me to talk to my mom. Yes, because what are you going to talk to her about? Your godparent? Do you know who your godparent is, Nicola? Do you have any memories of godparents? Do you? I'm waiting for you. I don't know if you're typing, but I don't have any memories. For this topic, when I saw it, I said, you know what, this is perfect. Because we do need that it takes a village, right? We do need other eyes out there with the way how things are going, with the way how people are out there. Oh, you have a godparent? You have a godparent, right? A godmother? Yeah. Okay. It's just like, so you're gonna ask your mom about it. Okay, cool. I guess later on you can say what it is. All right, but I'm so happy, guys, that you are here to join me going to church on Sundays. Yes, yes, they always pick you up as a child. I remember my grandmother. I don't remember if it's with the godmother, but I remember her getting me dressed, and then when this lady used to pass the house and say, she used to say, go to church, go to Sunday school, and I have to go with the lady. But I don't remember if it was Miss Sarah. I don't know. I don't remember. I don't remember her picking me up. It could be anybody. It could be Sister Guthrie or Sister Luck or any one of those older ladies that passed my house to get to Church of God, to Grange Church of God. But I remember she used to send me with them. Yes, because my grandmother, I don't remember her going to church, but she makes sure I did. I don't remember her. I don't. Maybe on occasions, but she makes sure I was in church. All right. But I really appreciate you taking time out to spend 2 hours with me. Yes, it's now 7 o'clock, 7:09, and we started like 5 something. So we did make our average of 2 hours, and I really appreciate it very much. Yes, your grandmother and godmother go to the same church. That's what Lorna said. But Lorna, for some reason, I do not have any memory of Miss Sarah going to church with her. But probably I did. I'm getting old. Oh boy. But I don't know. I don't have any memories. But I would imagine she was a good godmother when it comes to did she sell anything like Greta cake, or did she have, I know she had a shop, so I know my mom said she had a shop back then, so I know she spoiled me. I know she brought me goodies when we're going to church, right? I think she did. Maybe she bought me goodies when I was treats and stuff for church. Yeah, I probably did. Do we have godfathers? Nicola said, great live talk again soon. Yes, yes, we will talk. Thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you being here. And for our listeners, I appreciate the feedback. And it's clear that godparents can play a pivotal role in the child's life, providing love, guidance, and support. And for our listeners, I hope this discussion had given you some food for thought when it comes to the importance of godparents. Remember, parenting doesn't come with a manual, but with the right support system, it can be a little bit easier. So go out there, She was a great lady, bake just like your grandmother. Okay, so that's something I may kind of thinking about, that she used to be some kind of baker like that. Cause my grandmother used to do peanuts, pudding. Oh, my grandmother used to do that caramel pudding. Oh my gosh, I love it, love it, love it. She used to do those things, and toto, those coconut cake. Oh boy, I miss my grandmother. Boy, oh boy, but it's life. It is life, But until next time, guys, I appreciate you being here. Remember, go out there and be the best parent you can be. Remember, there's no one size fit all. It's what you think is best for your child. And when I share these stories, when I share these lives, I'm hoping that you will find something of value that you can take away from these lives, and you can go out there and just hi Daddy Dean, thanks for watching, hi Lana. Okay, thank you so much. Once again, guys, take care and see you again next week, Sunday. I don't know what day Sunday is, but see you again here at 5 o'clock when we'll have another discussion. This is your host. I'm Rowena, and I'm signing off from Rowena Explorez Parenting Without Manual. So stay connected, stay supported, and keep exploring. Anyway, take care, guys, and we will talk soon. So enjoy today. Remember again, if today is your birthday, go out there and have the best birthday ever. Enjoy life to the fullest, one life to live. And you all guys there in Jamaica and in the other Caribbean who were affected by Beryl, the hurricane, I wish you all the best. Building, rebuilding. I wish you all get whatever support you need. I know people really some have no homes. Some of them have no, their homes are gone. It's sad, sad, sad indeed. And I hope you get the help you need soon. All right. I haven't heard from some people in my family, but I heard that the network system, or the internet and all of that is down, which is expected. It's a storm and poles and everything goes crazy. So I expect that, but I hope all is well. I hope people are accounted for. I see Carlene said that she's safe. They have this thing on Facebook where you can mark yourself safe. So a few people they said they're safe, and I know they all are, because I've heard from someone who would have said something if anything was amiss. But all the best, guys. Until next time, this is Rowena Explorer Parenting Without Manual saying see you later. Bye. Bye. Hi, Daddy. Thanks for watching. Next Sunday, join me at 5. Thank you, Nicola. Thank you, Lorna. Thank you, Inez. Thank you all for joining. I appreciate everything. Appreciate you and your support. Oh, I forgot Henry. Nicola, thank you too. Whoa, whoa, yeah, yeah.